Here is my guide to starting a culture war in just a few steps. Because what's an easier way to get people onto your side than tapping into that little bit of outrage that lies dormant in the Australian public? Step number 1, identify an issue, preferably something that can create two groups of people, an us and a them, if you will. It's pretty simple here: Indigenous issues and the Welcome to Country ceremony. Indigenous issues have continued to be divisive, thanks to the likes of
"If you don't know, vote no."
The Welcome to Country, due to its prominence in work settings and at public events like the footy, is an easy target, especially since we're in the middle of State of Origin.
I think that they've got to use.
Step 2, have a conservative think tank fund a survey that tailors its questions to skew the results in your favour. The Institute of Public Affairs is a conservative think tank that's been around since the Second World War, and its links to the Liberal Party and the fossil fuel industry are deep and strong. Liberal MP Tim Wilson was a policy advisor for 6 years back in 2007. Tony Abbott is now a distinguished fellow and commonly appears on IPA podcasts.
But I do think that these welcomes and acknowledgements are well and truly overdone.
And if you needed any more info, take it from the horse's mouth. Former Liberal Prime Minister John Howard is quoted saying the Institute contributes very strongly to the intellectual debate on issues, and that in turn has an impact on what attitude the Liberal Party takes. But you might say, Archie, data for this poll was collected by independent research firm Dynata. Yes, it doesn't mean that they wrote the questions though. The first question, do you think the Welcome to Country is divisive? The polling showed that yes, 56% thought Welcome to Country ceremonies have become divisive. But here's the thing, when you phrase a question this way, you're relying on a few things. By asking whether it's divisive, you're not actually asking if someone is for or against. You're asking whether they think the topic causes disagreement. And if you were one of the millions of people probably paying attention during the election campaign, and even before then, you have probably been exposed to headlines in the media or from politicians claiming this to be a fact. If that's the case, it sort of makes sense. You might agree they are divisive. The big thing, they're divisive because the media and certain politicians keep talking about them. Next, Aboriginal Welcome to Country ceremonies should no longer be performed before sporting matches. Oh, look. My argument's completely destroyed. 49% of people agree. But wait a minute, 30% disagree and 21% are unsure. So actually not the raging hatred some might have hoped for. Finally, Aboriginal Welcome to Country ceremonies should no longer be performed at Anzac Day services. Ooh, how topical, especially after how controversial they were at this year's Anzac Day. 46% opposed, 54% unsure or in support. When it comes to this poll, polling analyst Kevin Bowman put it pretty frankly, ignore. He also accused Dynata of being an unreliable pollster and the questions being negatively framed. And they sort of are. Instead of asking, do you like or support Welcome to Countries, our first question is whether they are divisive. So anyway, back to the culture war thing. What's the next step after identifying your issue and commissioning a poll? Simple. You've got to get the media involved. A lot of journalists and their editors are fanging for a story to tell, especially one that might come pre-wrapped as a press release in their inbox in the morning. Also, this is a story with high emotional stakes, and the likelihood it will perform in page views and shares is high. Probably not for any good reasons, mind you, but there's plenty of people on Facebook, for example, who are desperate to blow up in the comment section about something like this. Let's take a look at how some of the Aussie media covered this poll. Big articles in the Telegraph by This Brains Trust. Oh, look at that. In the print version, they use the stats again. Oh, but there's no mention of the large percent that were unsure. That same story also across the other Sunday editions of Queensland's Courier Mail, Victoria's Herald Sun. The Courier Mail did publish this 2 days later. But no one wants to put their name to it though. Interesting. Of course, Sky News had a field day.
Well, it's actually indoctrinating children into these culture wars that we're seeing. And this is why you see the the rallies on Australia Day. It's always a divisive day.
And this.
And I think Aussies are sick of it.
Don't worry, of course they wheeled Pauline out as well.
I don't care. I'm not going to put up with this rubbish.
And now we reach our final stage of the culture war. Promotion. See, this publishing in the media then gets picked up and promoted by a host of other groups. I'm talking conservative and right-wing Facebook groups, or right lobby group Advance, who really does deserve their own video. One of the things often done here is to publish and promote screenshots and headlines to further disseminate the narrative that all of a sudden Aussies are fed up with the welcome to country. If you want to go a step further, you can then use it to prop up a petition. This one is now sitting at over 100,000 signatures. When in reality, even according to the unreliable data of their own poll, a majority of Australians are either in support of welcome to countries or unsure. But there you have it. Now, I'm not commenting on the ceremony itself. I'm just trying to point out how it's used to stir up the public. So what's next? Well, Peter Dutton flirted with a few options before getting turfed, like calling the ABC and The Guardian hate media. So I guess if we really want to find out, all we got to do is pay attention to the polls.